Why do some countries become rich while others remain poor? Why did South Korea transform from an agrarian economy into a technological giant in just a few decades? And most importantly, what actually drives long-term economic growth? More factories? More workers? More money? Or could it be that the real engine of the economy is ideas? Today is Lesson 8 of our Macroeconomics course, where we'll break down two of the most important theories of economic growth in the history of macroeconomics, the Solow model and endogenous growth models. By the end of this lesson, you'll understand why capital alone doesn't make countries rich, why technology is the most valuable resource humanity has, and why knowledge can generate economic growth almost without limits. This is one of the most important lessons in all of macroeconomics. Let's begin. Let's start with a fundamental question. What is economic growth? In macroeconomics, economic growth is the long-term increase in a country's real GDP. But economists aren't just interested in total GDP. What really matters is GDP per capita, because that's what tells us how much richer people are becoming, how living standards are changing, and how productive the economy is becoming. If the economy grows faster than the population, people on average become richer. And now the key question: what actually creates this growth? Economists searched for the answer for decades, and the first major modern answer appeared in the 1950s. It was proposed by Robert Solow. After World War II, economists observed something important. Countries were massively investing in factories, infrastructure, and machinery. It seemed obvious. The more capital a country has, the richer it becomes. But Robert Solow noticed something strange. Even when countries accumulated large amounts of capital, their growth would eventually slow down. Why? That's exactly what the Solow model explains. At the core of the Solow model is a very simple idea. In any economy, production is based on three things: labor, capital, and technology. Capital includes factories, machines, roads, computers, and equipment. The more capital each worker has, the more productive they become. For example, a farmer with a tractor produces more than a farmer with a shovel. But here's where the key problem appears. The first units of capital have a massive impact. The first tractor dramatically increases productivity. The second one helps too. But the 10th tractor for the same farmer barely changes anything. This is called diminishing marginal productivity of capital. And it's one of the most important ideas in all of economics. Each additional unit of capital generates a smaller and smaller extra effect. That's why simply accumulating capital cannot sustain economic growth forever. The Solow model formalizes this idea through the production function. The most commonly used version is the Cobb-Douglas production function, where Y, total output of the economy, A, technology, K, capital, L, labor. This equation tells a simple story. Output depends on technology, capital, and labor. But it's not just about how many resources we have, it's about how efficiently we use them. And this brings us to the most important element, A, the level of technology. This is the variable that will later become the central driver in modern growth theories. But for now, the Solow model makes a crucial assumption. Technology comes from the outside. In other words, the model does not explain where technology comes from, it just appears. In the Solow model, capital is constantly changing. There are two key forces at work. The first is investment. It increases the capital stock. The second is depreciation. Capital wears out over time. Machines break down. Buildings age. Equipment becomes obsolete. So part of the capital stock is constantly disappearing. An economy grows only when investment exceeds depreciation. And this is where the Solow model delivers a revolutionary insight. The economy naturally moves toward what's called a steady state, a stable condition. This is the point where new investments are being made, but they exactly offset depreciation. Capital stops growing, and along with it, output per worker stops growing as well. This result shocked economists because it implied something profound. Capital accumulation alone cannot generate long-term economic growth. A country cannot become infinitely rich just by building more factories. Eventually, growth slows down. But that's not the end of the story. And this leads to a crucial question. If the economy naturally tends toward a steady state, how much capital does it actually need? Is there an optimal level of savings and investment, one that is best for society? That's exactly the question Robert Solow tried to answer next. So what level of savings is actually optimal? If people save too little, there isn't enough investment. If they save too much, they sacrifice current consumption. Robert Solow showed that there exists what's called the golden rule level of capital. This is the level of capital that maximizes consumption in the long run. In other words, an economy shouldn't just accumulate capital, it should do so optimally. Another famous conclusion of the Solow model is convergence. The idea is very simple. Poor countries have less capital, which means each new investment has a larger impact there. So, in theory, poorer countries can grow faster than richer ones. For example, an additional factory in a poor economy can dramatically transform production. In a rich economy, the effect is much smaller. That's why the Solow model predicts, under similar conditions, countries should gradually converge in income levels. But in the real world, we observe something different. Some countries catch up with the rich, and some don't. This became a major problem for the Solow model. In the 1980s, economists asked a fundamental question. If capital has diminishing returns, then what actually drives long-term growth? And they arrived at a radically different answer. Not capital, but knowledge, technology, and ideas. And that's how endogenous growth models were born. The word endogenous means something that is explained from within the model itself. In the Solow model, technology was external. It simply existed. But the new models said, no, technology is created inside the economy, by people, by companies, through investment, through science, through education. And this is exactly what can sustain continuous, long-term economic growth. One of the main architects of this new theory is Paul Romer. His core idea was simple, but revolutionary. Ideas are fundamentally different from ordinary goods. If I give you an apple, I no longer have it. But if I share an idea with you, it remains with both of us. Ideas are non-rival. They can be used over and over again without being depleted. And that's why technology can generate continuous growth without diminishing returns. Another key idea is human capital. It includes knowledge, skills, education, experience. The modern economy depends less and less on physical capital and more on intelligence. Apple Inc. isn't valuable because of the number of factories it owns. Its value comes from design, software, its ecosystem, and engineering expertise. Google is not a factory, it's algorithms. OpenAI is not just servers, it's researchers, models, and data. The economy of the 21st century is an economy of ideas. Endogenous growth theory also explains what are known as spillover effects, positive externalities. When one company creates a new technology, other companies benefit as well. For example, the creation of the internet gave rise to Google, Amazon, YouTube, TikTok, and modern AI systems. One innovation triggers a wave of new innovations, and this creates self-sustaining growth. Modern growth theories argue that a country's wealth depends not only on resources, but on institutions, education, innovation, science, property rights, efficient markets, and entrepreneurship. Why did Silicon Valley become the center of global tech? Because it developed a powerful ecosystem. Universities, venture capital, talent, a culture of risk-taking, and the free exchange of ideas. Growth emerges where knowledge can scale. Let's compare the two models. The Solow model says, capital matters, but it has diminishing returns, so long-term growth depends on technology. But it does not explain where that technology comes from. Endogenous growth models say, Technology is created within the economy. Knowledge can scale almost without limits. Innovation is the main source of long-term growth. Robert Solow explained the limits of industrial growth. Endogenous growth theories explained the economy of knowledge. And now a new question arises. What happens if artificial intelligence accelerates the creation of new ideas? Some economists believe that AI could become the single biggest driver of economic growth in human history. Because it doesn't just automate physical labor, it also automates intellectual labor. And if knowledge is the main source of growth, then AI could fundamentally reshape the entire global economy. We may be witnessing the beginning of a new economic era right now. So, what have we learned? The Solow model showed that capital matters, but long-term growth ultimately depends on technology. Endogenous growth theory explained that technology is created by people through education, innovation, and ideas. And perhaps the world's most valuable resource is the human mind. If you enjoyed this lesson, support the channel with a like, comment, or subscription. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next lesson.